The Wing Bro, I'm going to talk to you about the bad boy husband paradox. The bad boy husband paradox, as I've named it. Before I do that, I'm just going to share this link with some friends. 1 second. Okay, so yes, the bad boy husband paradox. So here I am. Okay, so yes, the bad boy husband paradox. So here I am in this lovely apartment here in Vračar, Belgrade. And we're going to talk today about this, and it's inspired by a friend. We will call him Raul. Raul from Texas sent me a message yesterday, which I thought was a really thoughtful and interesting message about this. It's a seeming paradox that guys face where once they get to their late 30s or even potentially late 20s, they start to look at things more, but particularly in their late 30s, we're at the business end of things here, guys. We're the business end of things. I'm 39 years old. So when we're looking at relationships, we're looking at families, we're looking at marriage, we are looking at the sharp end, the business end of things. So taking things basically seriously. Do I have the housing set up? Do I have the finances set up? Do I have the right woman? Right? Am I in a position to give my future children the best start in life and have the best possible relationship and have the best next 40 years of my life, that I possibly can? And so we're taking things a bit more seriously than guys in their early 20s, or a lot more seriously in terms of setup. And one of the things that you kind of run into which is the fun playboy attractive guy seducer is almost a totally different character. It's a totally different set of behaviors to the dad, the father figure, to the husband. It's a totally different set of behaviors, or it seems that way anyway on the surface. And so what do you do with this? Because it can feel like the moment you start to take the girl seriously, quote unquote, and then you plan your life with her, maybe she starts to get lazy, or maybe becomes complacent, or maybe you just feel that initial spark, that mystery kind of goes. So how do you actually maintain that? Do you want to maintain it? Yeah, and what's the solution for this quandary, this quirk in space-time where there's the seducer over here and then there's the stable father figure over here? How do you bridge that gap? How do we do that? So that's the first thing I'm going to talk about in this live, because I think it's a really interesting one. I'm not married, so there's certain things I can't personally speak on, or I can't necessarily speak about with the same authority as someone who is married. But at the same time, I've been in like a number of long-term relationships. I know what this some of them at the same time, but I know what this whole situation is, where you're looking at stabilizing something, but at the same time, how do we keep that spark going, that excitement going? And yeah, I've got some notes here on this, so let me just pull those up, because I think it is something that requires notes, actually. Here we go. Yeah, so first of all, I think it's absolutely possible to merge the two. I think it's very straightforward to merge the two. But before I do that, the first thing I want to say is we shouldn't be playing a role. We don't want to be playing a role, when we're going out dating and stuff. If you're putting on the hat of the fun guy, if that's just a role you're playing and you don't really want to play it, what I would say there is stop playing the role. Stop playing the role to begin with. Yeah, I know it is effective to get women that role, so I understand why guys do it. But if you're past the point of really just wanting to pull for the sake of it, and it really is just a fake act, stop doing it. Stop doing the fake act. I'd say always like little bits of humor and so on, that's always good. But if you're going out being a party boy in your late 30s because you think that's the way to get girls and it kind of works, well, So I would say stop doing that. Stop doing that, and start approaching with a different intent. Start approaching with a different intent. It's funny. I go up to girls now. One of my opening lines is, if I meet a new girl now, I'll just introduce her to any incoming person as my wife. That's what I've started to do now. Interesting. I would never have done that in the past, but you kind of have to. I feel like in Serbia, you've got to be so full on. So that's just a bit of a side point, but stop acting basically. If you are going out looking for a wife, then there's a little bit of seduction and so on and all that type of thing. But yeah, stop being the party boy and presenting this player to them, because there's a lot of sensible women who don't actually want that. There are a lot of sensible women who don't actually want that. So you just have to repackage yourself just as your own natural persona, and go back out there with that energy. And there's and if there's just, you're not doing enough volume. To be honest, if you can't find girls who are looking for a serious relationship, you're looking in the wrong places, or you're not doing enough volume. So think about that. So yeah, you can mix fun with authority. You can mix a little bit of fun with authority. If you there is a little bit of a balance here as well in the kind of seduction process. Yeah, obviously there's a mixture of those two things anyway. But yeah, you don't need to be some big party boy. And I think in general for a lot of women, they do kind of enjoy a bit of a balance between some excitement and some stability, or some interest and some stability. And yeah, but it really does depend on the part of the world you're in. So my note here is, if you want a more and slow and steady life, well, approach with that in mind as well. Approach with that in mind. The person in question who gave me this question, he has a slightly piratical lifestyle. And so that might be something to look at as well, if you can. But yeah, in general, you can approach with a slow, steady vibe and then continue it on. I mean, God, out here in the Balkans, like that's what you're playing for, basically. That's what you're playing for out here. The concept of guys like being players and stuff like that, it does happen out here, but like by far the norm, like the 95% is. I remember when I was in Macedonia, the guy at the coffee shop I'd go to, after a while he was like, "Oh yeah, I need to find you a wife. I need to find you a girlfriend." It didn't occur to him that I would be out doing cold approach and, putting the moves on these girls. So in a lot of places, that's just kind of, this slower courting process is the norm anyway. So you don't need to put on a kind of fake act. And if, you can just be, honest with what you're looking for. The fact that it's actually quite a damning condemnation of, I'd say, the guys operating in the US. The fact that it's actually but it would be the same in Western Europe. It's quite a damning condemnation of these places that, like, by far the norm is girls just wanting to fuck around through their 20s. And then, you know what I mean? It's like, that's actually been even promoted. And that's okay, fine. But then where does that leave the future population? Well, it leaves them where they are, which is fucking depopulating. So anyway, because they get to, and we're older, and they realize, shit, we're not men. We actually have to have children when we're young. Anyway, I don't want to go down this route. Approach slow and steady, and you may need to change location. I have to believe, though, in the USA, it's 300 million people. I have to believe there's still plenty of women out there, probably millions, and maybe some who are even, who actually really I think with Trump and so on, I think that this movement in one direction is starting to maybe move in another direction. And there'll also be a lot of bitter millennial women who will start to come out and say, guys, the younger girls, we fucked up, yeah, don't do it. So you might find there'll be a lot more of these conservative type of girls who are looking for marriage younger and so on. So Surely in the USA, surely you can find something. So put yourself in the right rooms, put yourself in the right places. Next up here is don't build your life around them. This is a point. So the guy was talking about, how to like be the good guy, be the guy who's going to be the dad and caring and everything. I still would say don't build your life around them. Build your life, bring them in. Bring them in as your assistant and like literally make them do work. Make them work for you. Yeah. If the girl's not willing to do shit for you, she shouldn't be in your fucking life. Yeah. Make her do stuff. Give her tasks to do. Give her something to do for your business. If you're going away for work, get her to iron your shit. Get her to pack your stuff. Yeah. They love this. They love this. Yeah. Shows leadership. She's like, oh, this is my guy. He needs me to do stuff. Right. And it's, I can't imagine being with a girl who didn't. What kind of woman isn't like this? That's my question. And why would you have her in your life? I can't even imagine it, to be honest. So get her to do stuff, build your ship, build your boat, build your life, get her on as your first mate, and just get her to set her tasks. You don't have to do it in a draconian way, but it's just like, just tell her to do it, in a nice way. And if they don't do it, that's your test. This is part of your vetting process. Yeah. Sorry, if you don't cook, I'm out, love. Goodbye. Yeah, and so stop playing this role and maybe step into more of that patriarch role. If that's what you want to be in the future, this is the phase you want to move into. Start just moving into that a little bit more. Start moving into that a little bit more. Start stepping into the patriarchal role. And yeah, I think also as well, there is a reason why historically it's always been women and children. They've always said women and children get on the life rafts first. Women and children. They've always been put in the same bracket. It's because they are very similar. Okay, women and children are very similar. So, yeah, just start treating them a little bit more like children. I remember one of a girl I was friends with who. It started off me like really making like an aggressive play for this girl for like about a month. When she was a new girl on the dance scene, really, really hot, really good dancer. And she was religious, but it's one of those religions. It's like it was a sect of Christianity, it's really intense, like Seventh-day Adventists or something like that. It was some really intense sect. So she was a virgin and had no interest in like any type of casual relationships at all. She just wanted to be marriage and done. I think she might still be a virgin now, about 8 years later. So she was like 20 at the time I met her. I think she might still be a virgin. And what was the point here? What was I getting to with this girl? Yeah, I'd made a play for her. It didn't. I literally dragged her to a church. I managed to get her on a date after dancing one day. I took her to a bar. And then I was just putting the moves on her. She wasn't having it at all. She was like physically just pushing me away, even though she liked me. And then I took her to a fucking church. I was like, look, yeah. We had a conversation about her. I was like, look, yeah, I will marry you right here, yeah. I wanted this girl so much, but anyway, it was a funny night. And then we just became friends after that because it's like, we're obviously not compatible. Yeah, it's obvious, right? So let's not, we can be friends. It's fine. And I remember one night we were out, like after dance, we went to a club and I was just talking to some of the girls on the way and stuff like that. And she said to me, she was like, that observant way women say things. She's like, Joseph, you really know how to talk to girls. Like, really. And I just remember thinking, and I know what she was saying. And I remember thinking, yeah, it's because in my line of work, I deal with children all day. So, or for a lot of my career anyway. So, yeah, you just talk to them the same way. You need to modulate, things like modulating your voice and stuff. Sometimes I comment, if I see a very shy girl, I like modulate my voice, like a stroke the kitten, So treating them more like children in general is just a good thing to do. And also, even if, they like that inner child to come out. I think as men, we like to let loose our inner child as well, don't we? And women are the same way. Okay, so that's something maybe to tap into a little bit more as you're stepping into this patriarchal kind of role. The guy doesn't want to create instability for his future family, which is cool, but there's no reason to think like that. There's no reason you would. There's no reason you would. And I'll think more about what you want. What is your vision? And set that vision, set that intent. I'm thinking of this guy. I'm thinking of him out on his ranch somewhere. You know, that's the kind of life I'm thinking. There is lots of girls who would want to step into that. I mean, God, I think almost most would, to be honest with you. Do you want to marry a man in the USA who's cool guy, very interesting life? He does this job, which is like the most manly job of all time. If anyone in the entourage is watching, they know who I'm talking about. And yeah, he's got a ranch going on as well. Like, I think like most women in the world, especially in Europe and stuff like that, they fucking love this. They'd absolutely love this. So I think there's no need to be too much on the defensive. Set the vision for the life you want, the life you think you'd enjoy, and bring the right person into it. What else did I have in here? Yeah, and I think also as well, like just where you're shopping, the market that you're shopping in is really important. So you might find it might be an American girl who would fit best into that role, or it might not. It might be a girl overseas. I don't know what it's the US. I think is just such a mixed bag. It's such a huge country, it is a unique country. Like there is not another country ever that parallels the USA. There is nothing like it, and there never has been anything like it. So you've got all these pockets all over the place, and there's so many different cultures. There's so many different things going on. So you can't really, yeah. So I'm sure there are pockets there where there's really good girls who probably dream of this type of situation. But if not, you can shop somewhere else. There's plenty of girls around the world who would love this kind of scenario. I mean, loads. And the last thing I'll say as well is the culture which the girl comes from is important. The culture, the local culture, and the family culture as well. Yeah, in some countries, some countries and some cultures, the women are just unmarriable. Let's be honest. In some places, they're just like it's a guaranteed divorce. They're just unmarriable. So you just avoid them. But in other cultures, it's a factory of wives. The DR is a factory of wives. I think Serbia is for a certain guy as well. There's a lot of wife material girls here. And this whole red pill thing of they all want to ride the cock carousel. This is just so retarded. And again, it just speaks to where all this shit is coming from is, coastal American culture. The girls all want to just ride the cock carousel. Really, really. Because I had a message yesterday from a girl. I'm the third guy that she slept with. And I can't remember, I was joking with her that I was annoyed that I didn't take her virginity. And she was like, to be honest, I only wanted to ever sleep with one guy in my whole life. Yeah? But men are idiots, is what she said. So, yeah. And this is a girl with a very high sex drive as well. Yeah? The girl I'm speaking to now, out here, she's still a virgin, right? She's not planning on sleeping around. She's tried kissing a few guys, and she finds even that makes her feel disgusting. So this idea of the cock carousel, this retardation from people who know fucking nothing about the world, the extent of their vision is maybe like Los Angeles or something. That's just not how it is all over the world. There's loads of girls who are looking actually for the exact opposite of this. I was speaking to a girl yesterday from Belarus, and man, by the way, if you're looking for a territory with some fucking hot girls, hot conservative girls, Belarusia, my friends, Belarusia. I met a couple of them out here. And yeah, it was a similar type of vibe. We didn't really get so far down the relationship route. I was like, man, I don't even need to, I speak to so many women, I don't even need to ask this girl's mentality. It's fucking obvious. Yeah. And it's like, oh yeah, they deceive you. No, they don't, bro. Not when you've done the amount of interactions I've done. That girl I was talking about earlier, the girl from my dance class, on my first time I met her, I danced with her for about 3 songs, and I said, "You're religious." How the fuck I can know that from the way she dances bachata or salsa? I have no idea, because she was quite touchy as well. But I just looked at her, I was looked at the energy on her face. I was like, "You're religious," and then she just laughed. And then later on, I found out, yeah, she was like Seventh Day Adventist or something. It was like really hardcore religion. So you can see stuff in people. I can see a girl who's fucking gets around. It's obvious, mate. It's obvious. It's absolutely obvious. Yeah. Um, if you can't see that, you need to be interacting a lot more. It's pretty obvious. It's not difficult. Yeah. Um, so yeah, so the culture the girl comes from, I've gone on a bit of a wide tangent there, but the culture the girl comes from, what is their attitude towards permissive sex? What's their attitude? I personally don't care that much about the sex stuff, whatever, recreational sex, but I do care about the marriage and children stuff. So what is their attitude towards marriage and children? You know, is it a country where, is it a place where everyone's getting divorced? Look at the states, like which state is the girl from? Is she from the state with the highest divorce rate, like if you're talking USA, or is she from the state with the lowest? Are her parents together? What's her family situation? Yeah, this stuff plays a part. It plays a massive part. This is something that younger guys, even like guys who are very good in pickup and stuff, they're probably not aware of this stuff because something it becomes front and center pretty much once you pass 35. Even if you don't marry the girl, you don't have the time to invest in someone who has got problems, which I'm sorry to say, unfortunately, if the girl's raised wrong, she's a write-off. Yeah, she'll be in her 40s before she even realizes what's happened to her. She'll go to therapy and stuff. Then maybe, but she's a write-off basically. So they're much more. We're all shaped by culture, but it's more important for the girls because like by the time they might even figure out something was wrong, they'll be too old. So for you anyway, as a guy. So yeah, so the culture that she's from, the family, this is so important. Yeah, like here in Serbia, people mostly don't tend to get divorced that much. It's mostly people are together. Capital is a bit more divorce, but I was looking at the other day, like rural Serbia and stuff, the divorce rates are pretty low. Yeah, it still obviously happens. And it can be the men's fault as well. Obviously, we're not fucking saints either. So yeah, so what are the divorce rates like? What's the mentality of the girl? Yeah, this is absolutely crucial. This is absolutely crucial. And you have to vet on this. You have to filter out. Leave girls who are not suitable for this. You gotta just bounce, leave them. You can't be entertaining a girl and thinking, oh, she might be, no. Because she'll destabilize your life. She'll fuck up your life. There's a video I did about a couple of months ago on a millionaire CEO who lost all his money through divorce. The guy is literally gone from being worth about 10 million to basically having now his family having to send him money. And this is within the space of about within the space of 5 years, this guy's gone from being worth about 10 mil to literally borderline being homeless within 5 years in his 60s. There's a whole story about how that happened. I won't go into it here, but it is as a result of 2 divorces, bad personal decisions, right? This can fucking wreck you. So if you're an older guy, if you're in your late 30s, 40s, you've got assets and you want to build a family, yeah, this is stuff you need to be thinking about. And this is stuff that I address in my program. Cold approach is just the first aspect of all of this. Getting you used to talking to people in public, meeting new girls face to face, the romantic way, okay, the way of the noble prince, right? But that's just the first step in all of this. So yeah, if you're looking for, basically, there's a program we'll be running in the future, which is basically find your wife, essentially. It's going to be a big program we'll be running in the future. And it's because it's on the business end of stuff, cold approach is just the first 10%. You've got everything else to go through as well. And I think it's about a 2-year process. And it's about a 2-year process from starting cold approach to walking potentially down the aisle or having a, you know, child with this woman. And there's a lot that you need to think about. Yeah, first of all, your location, culture of the girl, and this is again, this is where my expertise is exceptional. It's because I've lived in more than 20 countries. I speak 4 languages. Even in places where I'm not so interested in the girls, I'm still approaching and I'm clocking the girls. There's been a few places where I'm thinking, I literally think to myself, these girls would be really good for this guy, you know. So yeah, if you are at the sharp end, you're at the business end, you know, just drop me drop me a call, calendly.com/wingbro. We can discuss your situation, because these are big decisions, man. These are big decisions. Once we start to get down to, as I say, to the business end, and it can be fun. It can be fun. You just need to do the right thing. So do the right thing. Have someone to consult with as well. If the CEO had consulted with me, he would currently still be worth most of his net worth, if not all of it. He wouldn't have. What he did was just unbelievably stupid. So yeah, it's really worth it. It's really worth it. You're talking, you're saving millions of dollars potentially if you've got something that you've built over your life. And the last thing I'll say here is, why are we not having, like, we should be having direct conversations with the girl about what their expectations for marriage are. Direct conversations about it. And just like, I swear to God, I have that on the first date. My first proper date. That's what I do now. My first proper date, I don't have time, bruv. And I don't think the girls are seeing, I'm 40, I don't think they're seeing me as like, I don't know, mate, if I met them in the street and we have a chat and they come for a date with me, I think they are probably seeing me at least as a potential boyfriend or husband. Even boyfriend, it's a bit stupid, isn't it, really? Once you get to a certain point, a certain age, it's like, they're seeing me as a potential husband, let's be real. So, yeah, that can also work again. If you're looking for short-term stuff, that can also work against you as well. But anyway, so yeah, direct conversations. I have this on the first. I want to know, what's your relationship to your dad? I'll do it in a subtle way, you know. So like, oh, do your parents live in the city or whatever? And then usually they'll say XYZ. Oh no, my mum and dad moved here. Oh no, my dad lives here. My mum lives there. Oh, in some cases, my dad's dead. You know, different things like that. So I want to know that as soon as possible, so I can scout the lay of the land. Yeah. I just need to know what the situation is. If the situation is really bad, normally those girls are fucked, and you can see it in their behavior anyway. So, God, so much of this in club life. Oh my God, I feel like I've fucking borderline raised half a dozen women. Yeah, so family and culture, economics as well. Economics. Another one with this question is, what with the economic side of things. Realistically, there's also basically, the richer the culture, the higher the rates of divorce. That doesn't mean you're gonna get divorced, but rich people are just basically intolerant to like the difficulties of life, or just I don't know. Well, maybe not. I don't know, but that seems to be the pattern. I actually think the super rich. Okay, so I'm going to caveat this. The middle class, the upper middle class, they divorce like crazy, for whatever reason. The super rich, okay, maybe there's obviously those predatory divorces, but the women as well. I know this for a fact because I worked in family services in Monaco. Some of those super rich women, they actually take that whole lineage thing really seriously. These like really rich families, and like they merge families and stuff, all that shit, you know, like all the old royalty and stuff, all that shit still goes on. So they think about it as well. They don't want to fuck up their family lineage, you know, for what? Because they had a bad day, and then the pool boy made eyes at them, they're going to shag him. It's just retarded. They're not going to do that, right? So yeah, the economic side is important. So let's say you're from continental USA, right? And you're earning 100,000 US dollars or more or a year, even 60,000, but let's say it's 100,000 US. You know, like in most of the world, you may as well be Jeff fucking Bezos in half of the world. So there is also a question here of like, well, if you have a bit of an international lifestyle, you can have a situation where just you're so OP with everything, with your like Western charm and education, which is a thing, by the way, um, and dynamism, and also the fact you've got like a decent amount of cash as well. You've got a decent lifestyle. You can have a situation where it would be so absurd for that girl not to give you everything because you're just by far her best option. Like, she's from, I don't know, well, yeah, she's from fucking Siberia or Belarusia or something. Like, yeah, she can get good local guys. There's good local guys with cash and stuff like that. But in general, I think Western guys have got a big advantage in seduction, in my opinion, because um, from what I see in the East, they don't really do that much seduction, in my opinion. You know, they just rely on physique as far as I can see. So I think Western guys have definitely got. You think of English guys, French guys, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, American, even Western like South American stuff. All of that Western culture. There's much more flow, right? There's much more seduction there. I'm sure the Eastern guys have got their thing as well, but I don't see any evidence of it really. I just see, yeah, they just seem to rely on physique. So you've got that persona, that personality, that expressiveness. Plus, you've also got wealth as well, relative wealth. I mean, why the fuck? And then the girls are raised for marriage anyway. You've basically got a 99% success rate. Um, no, Jim, bruv. I get this guy out. Let's get him out. Um, so yeah, so you've got a really high success rate, a really high success probability. You know, just think of it from the girl's point of view. She's in the fucking Philippines. She's in, I don't know, maybe Argentina or something, or she's in Belarus. She's in Siberia, wherever. She's in fucking, I don't know. You take a Congo mission. Yeah, you go Leopold mode and go into the Congo, right? You still need to have personality and so on and be confident to actually get the girls to begin with. But once they start to get with you, it's like, well, why would I leave this guy? For who? For the fucking Dominican taxi driver? No, I'm good, thank you. You know, for the Siberian gangster who just lives through the Bosnian gangster who just beats up his ex-girlfriend. No thanks, I'm all right. I'll stick with my guy, yeah? It doesn't even make logical sense. So this weird fear that has been instilled into men, it's primarily comes from like a true whore society, which is, I'm sorry, it's just like Los Angeles basically. It is what it fucking is. I'm not even really dissing that. It's like if you want to get laid, these are great places. For us as men, go and enjoy it. But if we're talking about this side, the business ends, yeah. Um, so yeah, most of the world is not like that at all. There's pockets of it here and there. I'm even noticing in Western Europe that the trend is away from promiscuity. The trend is away from promiscuity in Western Europe as well. The overall trend is away from it. Obviously, people are still humans, but that is the trend. So yeah, the economic point, you basically can put yourself in a category where you're like a pharaoh to this chick, yeah. And then yeah, the last point I've got here is just vetting, aggressively vetting. This is part of the process. Again, calendly.com/wingbro. If you also, if you're a guy in your late 30s looking to meet a wife and you don't know what to do, you don't know where to start, you don't know how to approach, you don't know what type of girl you need to be looking for, you don't know where you need to be looking, I can answer all these questions for you. Yeah, I really can. So get on a call. Calendly.com/wingbro. Yeah, because this is, as I say, it's a long process, but it's a process that's going to determine your future lineage. It's a process that's going to determine the next 40 years of your life. Yeah, in a way, it could determine the next 4 generations of your family if you make the right decision. So, yeah, it's important stuff. So that was everything for this for this particular topic. That's everything I've got, I think, on this paradox between the responsible dad figure and then the fun, saucy, sexy guy. You don't need to just, I don't know, you don't need to fake yourself, you don't need to fake it. If you're looking for something more serious and so on, then I would recommend bringing that more into your approaches and certainly into your first dates. I think it's almost like once you've got that seducer in you, you should almost do it on autopilot, in my opinion. It shouldn't really be like an act. It's like you should just seduce the women a little bit because it's fun. But then within the dates and things, and as you're going through, getting to know them, you do talk about more serious stuff. I think that's natural. I don't think it's a thing where you need to cognitively make a big switch. It should just be fairly natural. As you get older, you're going to vet a bit more seriously. So that's everything on that topic. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about? Well, I'm excited about just living here in Russia. This is a much nicer place I've got at the moment. You see this outside? Got a nice garden out here. We've got a balcony we can sit out on as well. Look at this. This is peak Serbian life. Really nice area as well. Beautiful, gigantic couch. Look at the state of that for deflowering. It's actually bigger than it looks on that picture, but yeah. For deflowering Serbian virgins, it comes in handy. Yeah, very happy with this time. I'm even closer to the centre as well, so if and when I come back to Serbia, I'll probably book this place out again. And yeah, so I'll just do a quick debrief of Serbia as well while I'm here. It's not quite a debrief yet for me, but fellow Entourage member Ephraim, Paul University, he left yesterday. Well, he left this morning. It was his last day yesterday, so he's done a month out here. And we talked a lot about his experiences, the differences between Serbia versus USA versus Poland versus Barca. I do think Serbia is a very interesting territory, just in general. Never mind the women, I just find it interesting in general. And I'll maybe do a specific live on Serbia because I've 4 months here. You can say, oh, you don't know anything about Serbia, you've only been here 4 months. Sure. But in that 4 months, I've for sure done more cold approach than probably almost anyone in Serbia, to be honest with you. Apart from, there'll be a few guys, our Bulgarian assassin down there, he's done more than me. But I've done more cold approach this year in the Balkans than virtually any local guy will ever do in their life. Mostly because they don't do it, but even if they do, they'll probably dabble for a little bit and then get out. I've done hundreds and hundreds of approaches out here in the Balkans. In Serbia itself, I've probably had, I don't know how many dates, to be honest. Instant dates and so on, I don't know. 20 or something, I don't know. Maybe 15, I don't know. No, in fact, it's got to be more than that, because this time out, I've had about 12 or so dates, mostly instant dates, 90% of them. But then when I was here before September, October, some nice dates then as well. Yeah, it was at least 3 or 4 nice dates then. I don't think I had any dates when I was back in March. Instant dates in Bosnia, bruv, So the whole region is like very interesting territory. I do think it's one of the trickier places for daytime approach. I really do. That said, the girls are very good. And you can get success here as well. as I've proved, as my friends have proved, as clients have proved. But it's, yeah, something me and Ephraim talked about yesterday. It's like the output to get the girls is very, very high. Your output's got to be really high. Yeah, and then you just have the filter system. So there is a question of, even as hot as the girls are and as cool as they are, is the output worth it with daytime approach? That's my question. And so yeah, we've talked about, and actually I've started to experiment with just doing more approach in cafes, inside venues, and so on, because I think context matters, man. Context matters. We've been told this directly. You know, this, and this is something you really have to. Again, this is part of the whole wifey game, is realizing that daytime approach, street approach, is the highest demand social activity you can do, because you're stopping a girl apropos of nothing, and you're basically making a play for her, which is very unusual, right? No one knows she doesn't know who you are, etc., etc., right? So yeah, it's they've got no context for you, and I would wager, and this is once you get good at cold approach, you are essentially Superman in any other context where you want to seduce a woman. You're essentially Superman, because you can put it on a girl basically from the street. You can definitely do it in a social setting, in a party. I was watching Ephraim and Balfour. Some of the sets they were doing out here, I watched them very closely, and I was like, yeah, that's a straight up masterclass. That is a masterclass of a set. They probably thought the same about some of mine. And in some cases, the girls were still ghosting, and you're going, what on earth happened? How is that even possible? If that's in the UK, if that's in Spain, this is coming through. But I imagine those very same girls, if they got that same treatment in a social setting here, in a party that we'd got invited to when we were there, and they got the same treatment, that would be it. That's your girlfriend then, because the setting is more acceptable. The street is just too much for some of these girls. Not all of them, but some of them. So yeah, bringing your approach skills, honing them in the streets. It's like literally like you're a street fighter. Yeah, yeah. You don't want to be scrapping in back streets for the rest of your life. Then you want to go into the big arena. You want to go under the lights, go to a nice gym. Train properly. It's that kind of thing, right? Been a street footballer. Yeah, you got all the skills and tricks, and it's like, wow, he does all this stuff on his jagged streets in Brazil. Yeah, you don't want to be a beach footballer, street footballer forever. Get yourself into a proper setup. And so that's what I would say for Serbia and the Balkans in general. Good place to hone your skills. If you can do it here, you can do it probably in most places. No, you can do it in anywhere where it's based. If you can do it here, anywhere it's legal, you can do it. Obviously, Tehran probably could still be a struggle. But yeah, that's what I would say about this territory. There's you still get a lot of positive reactions, but for local guys, I would strongly suggest building cold approach into your life, because local guys need to be a lot bolder, in my opinion, and a lot more proactive. But then also, develop out your network, develop out your social circle. Yeah, this is, people like, oh, social circle game is bullshit. No, it's not bullshit. It's not bullshit. God knows how many women I banged through my social circle. I've got no idea. Like a lot. And because my social circle was out in the clubs, so it's this whole thing, this whole scene, right? Dance as well. So, yeah. And it doesn't have to be like, I think people get confused between what an adult social circle is simply acquaintances. It's not like your little group of mates when you were at high school and you literally sat around in a circle playing spin the bottle. That's not a social circle. The adult world is just acquaintances. That's all social circle is. It's just acquaintances. Yeah, that you have some familiarity with. The girls have a reference point for you. You're introduced by a third party member who you mutual friends with, and that's it. That's enough of a social circle. That's enough. So yeah, leverage that. I'll be working on that in the next few weeks as well out here, because I think I've just noticed better results. I've been coming from cafes, and I think I would get really good results if I had a bit of a social circle here. I think I would I really do, think I could get really good results out here. So yeah. Anything else? Yeah. The last thing I'll say as well is guys who are getting into their approach, the more positive reference experiences you can get, the better, because your mind's, there's this strange thing where the mind remembers negative experiences twice as intensely as it remembers positive experiences, which means that for every, you basically need, you need 2 positive experiences for every negative experience to even it out. And unfortunately, cold approach is not going to give you that. It's going to give you quite the opposite of that. Anywhere you do it, you're going to have, well, maybe some places it could be about that type of ratio. It could be 50-50, you don't know. But so what I'm actually encouraging people to do is get the maximum level of positive experience you can, and really emphasize that in your own mind as well. Oh, I just stopped a girl. Fuck yes, I just stopped a girl. I paid her a compliment. Wow, that was the first time I ever had the balls to pay a girl a compliment. Don't diminish these things, because the negative ones, they'll hit you anyway. So when you get the positive results of any description, I would really, really exaggerate it, because just because of this psychological effect, you actually need to do that. I'd also encourage you guys as well to start shooting for instant dates more. And the transition is simple as, do you want to get coffee now? That's it. And you just say it in a very spontaneous way, like, do you want to get coffee now? There you go. And then you take them for coffee. I've done that loads of times. It's a really nice thing to do. And then you're on an instant date, and before you know it, it's just this magical thing. Who knows where it goes? And that's just, these are positive reference experiences. Yeah, because I've found in I would say Balkans, it does give you, it's very tantalizing. It gives you lots of positives, but then there's a big fall off, which is a negative experience in terms of, okay, this is another one who's flaked. It's annoying. So when you do get those positives, really emphasize them and focus in on those positives, expand them in your mind. Yeah. I think traveling around is imperative as well. Traveling around is imperative. Get yourself some flights booked. Check out different cities. Check out Barcelona. Check out, if you've not been to the UK, go to the UK. Go to the Caribbean. Go to Poland. Come out to the Balkans. Go to Asia. Check out all these places. Give yourself some variety and give yourself some different options to look at, and then you can make your decision. It's pretty simple, to be honest with you. Once you've got the skills, you've got something, you got the skills, you can do it in the streets, but then you build beyond that. You build a social circle, you build acquaintances, you build an identity in a place. It's a guarantee. If it's the right place as well, it's a guarantee you're going to do well. So I'll leave things there for today. Hopefully that's been useful, boys. I'll catch you in the next one. This is Josefsky, the Wingbro, calendly.com/Wingbro if you want to have a clear pathway from the streets to the sheets, from getting wild to the aisle. I just made that up. That's a freestyle rap. To find from the streets all the way through to, the screams and cries of the bedroom, and then the screams and cries of your future children as they're misbehaving. And you think, why did I get into cold approach? And I've got these little demons running around. But yeah, if this is the phase of life that you're in, and you're a serious guy who is looking to meet your future wife, future mother of your children, in the most romantic way, a way that your future sons and daughters will be proud of you when you're an old man. They'll say, yeah, daddy was an old gangster back in the day. Even if you're a nerd, nerds can be the absolute top G's in all of this. Get in touch, calendly.com/Wingbro. Take it easy, guys. I'll catch you again in the next one.